Join us for our latest unboxing and build, this time Necron Start Collecting.
Pocket bits.
Welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. I'm Baer, and today we're gonna unbox and build the new Start Collecting box from Necrons. Caveat, I already built all these models like many years ago, so I'm just going to show you the ones I got built already and kind of tell you a little bit about how to build them, because I know a couple of gotchas and a couple of conversions you might want to try out as well. Plus, we're going to break down the savings of this box because, hey, Start Collecting means a little bit of savings. So, hey, let's throw it down on the paint table and take a closer look. So here it is, a Necron Start Collecting box, $85 retail. And you're actually going to get, believe it or not, roughly $134.50 worth of Necrons out of this. So you're going to save about $50, give or take, on the day for picking this up. Now, there is some Necrons that come with the Forge Bane box, which is, came out last week. So that may be a little bit better of a deal for you. Or, maybe you want to pick up this to kind of go along with that. Potato. Either way, I'm sure that the Start Collecting box will be around a lot longer than the Forge Bane box. So either way, this is probably a good pickup. Not only for the fact that there's savings, but there's actually 2 patrol detachments in here, because you're going to get 2 HQs, and you can, depending on how you want, you can make this and your Catacomb Command Barge, and then 2 troop choices as well. So, it can fill out a little patrol detachment, or I suppose a battalion, because you would have 2 HQs and 2 troops as well, or 2 patrols. So either way, it's a neat little box to pick up for most Necron players out there. Now, this is the year of the Xenos. It's got a lot of people all fired up about playing some Necrons. So first off, let's talk about what comes in the kit before we dive too much further into it. So you get a full box of the Necron Warriors here. That is a 36.25 retail, so you're going to get 12 of the Warriors and 3 Scarab Races, which is the exact minimum squad size for both of those. Then you're going to get the Catacomb Command Barge, Annihilation Barge 2-part kit. So this guy actually goes on here if you don't put the gun on there. I'm going to show you a neat little conversion to save you some time painting this up. And then you're going to get the Ginormous Overlord. Now, this guy was originally, I forget his name. I think he's got a specific name, or he did. This was the guy that came in the Deathstorm box back in, I want to say it was fall of 2014. I want to say that box came out with this and the Blood Angels in it, and Captain K came opposing this Necron Lord right here. So we're looking at roughly 2 or 3 years since we saw him originally come on the scene there, and a box of the Necron Immortals. So Necron Immortals is $33, the Overlord's $28, the Annihilation Barge actually is $37.25, and the Warriors are $36.25, for a grand total of $134.50. Again, $50 savings over buying everything there. Now let's flip through the instructions real quick just to show you a couple of things. Overall, this kit is pretty easy. The Necron Warriors themselves state from their initial release in the summer of 2003 in plastic form. So you're going to get 12 of those dudes and the little scarabs there, and then you're going to get the Immortals, the Death Marks, depending on which one you want to make. The Command Barge, Annihilation Barge makes both of those, and I'm going to show you a little conversion here that you can kind of, if you keep this little, what will we call this, Starship Enterprise bridge off of the Command Barge, you can actually put a Lord on base there, or switch it out with this gun. And if you really want to save yourself some time and effort, don't even put these pilots on, because they're not even part of it. They don't have a stat profile or nothing like that in the new book, so you don't even really need to assemble those guys. And I'm going to show you a conversion that basically saves you a lot of time and effort, because you're painting 4 models if you decide to do that. Or here, you're painting 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 4 models as well. So it's a little monotonous, but if you can save some time and get the guys on the table, hey, that's what it's all about there. And then the Overlord goes together pretty easily. It's that multi-part slice kind of type deal. Now, Necron Warriors, a lot of folks have trouble with this, where you put the little green rods in here. And some folks are like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to glue them in. I'm going to put the rod on after, and then I'm going to glue this little part on right here. That's probably not a good idea. What I would recommend, if you want to keep the glowy clear rod, what you're going to want to do is save that for later. Go ahead and glue this in, but glue this in and use your little rods to kind of snug them in there, okay? So you're going to want to take the rod, glue this down, make sure the rod fits in there, and then go on to the next guy. And that way you know when you come back to put the rods in that they will all fit. Because you can't paint this without getting paint on the rod. Let's just be honest. So, or conversely, you can just glue it all together and paint the actual rod. You know, there's lots of cool glow effects and things you can do out there. I'm actually going to show you some guys, some glow effects that I did for mine. I just painted the rod because I was like, you know what, I know how much of a hassle this can be. Scarabs go together pretty easily, and then the Immortal kit or the Deathmark kit, also very easy to go together. Once you figure out which version you're going to make, it's all the plastic stuff really goes together quite easily. The Catacomb Command Barge and Annihilation Barge, the only gotcha here is really kind of this bottom part here. Make sure you glue this down very well so that it all kind of attaches together, because you'll have a problem later on where when you're putting the flight stem in, it'll kind of split it at the bottom. And the model I'm going to actually show you that happened with. So it was a little vexing. Watch your little parts, the little spots where you put these armor veins on with these little snap pieces right here. That can get a little monotonous, but if you just kind of clip them off as you go, you should not have any issues with it. And I think, if I remember correctly, those were all the gotchas that I experienced when I was putting these together many years ago when they first kind of re-released them. Now, sprue-wise, you can definitely tell that the Necron Warriors are a little bit more of a dated sprue, we'll kind of call it there, for sure, where there's more space and they're not expertly laid out because they kind of did everything by hand. And then you've got the Necron Immortals, which definitely fill up the sprue a little bit more, and you can kind of see here where there's a lot more stuff actually in the sprues and all the different parts. And just make sure that you kind of follow along, take it slow, get all the stuff clipped off in the right places so you don't have any issues there. And the Catacomb Command Barge is actually a 3 sprue kind of mini kit that is relatively simple to build. Just a 3-part kit right there. And like I said, you don't have to assemble everything, but you might as well on 8th edition. I definitely advocate building each possible way to put this thing together, just because down the road you don't know if models are going to change, equipment's going to change, or excuse me, equipment options are going to change. If you magnetize things or make it as modular as possible, if you get hit with some facts or some erratas or chapter approved, then you're good to go. You have all your options, just snap them back on and you go. So there's that. And last but certainly not least is the Overlord from that set many years ago. So there they are. There is all, and of course you get all the bases. And remember, these guys now are on the 32mm bases and the Scarabs are on 40s. But back in the day, you will notice all of my Necron Warriors are on 25mm, but that's just a story or perhaps something that I need to fix for another day. Now, once you get these guys painted up, let's zoom in a little bit here. So far away. Once you get these guys painted up, it's pretty easy. That might be too close. There we go. It's pretty easy to work on these. Once you get them all glued together, some little gotchas. You want to make sure you use probably some plastic glue or this really thin liquid cement that I like to use these days from Vallejo, or excuse me, from Tamiya, or you can use the new Vallejo plastic putty. I wasn't onto this stuff back then, so you're going to see some gaps in the shoulders here, which could have been avoided with a little bit better use of my hobby muscles at the time, but I didn't have any of that. All we had was liquor green stuff, and that stuff was not the best, believe it or not. So unfortunately, that was kind of what happened there. But you can see that overall, it's very easy to put these guys together and use them as whatever. Now, these guys I sprayed, just a metal spray, and then just did some washes. I didn't bother with any highlights because I just kind of came in with the airbrush and spritzed it, boom, 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 right there. And just kind of came in and hyper highlighted it, made sure I hit the eyes. I did all this back here, this red by hand with the Wazdaka, working it on up, and it was good to go. Here's my warrior that, again, I said, you know, hey, I just left this in place and just painted over it, and then eventually worked on their bases. Very easy, very, very not time consuming whatsoever, believe it or not. And then for the scarabs, I actually never put a scarab together myself. I made some conversions, some little scorpion baby conversions out of Lich Guard parts there. That's the hand blaster, and the little backpack cowl kind of turned into legs. That worked out pretty good. So, but generally scarabs, you just glue them down and they're good to go. And then the reason I did that is because I had this cool little wraith conversion that I used as a spider because it fits on a 60 mil right there. I just added in a Dark Eldar Halos tail right there. It's literally just a wraith with the armor plates flipped inside out. We have a little article on how to do that over on Spiky Bits, so just do a search for Canoptic Scorpion. You can probably find that. Now, the one thing I wanted to show you that I think, as far as modular tricks go, is best to do is the barge, like I said. Now, you'll notice that if I push the stand up, because I didn't glue it down very well, it'll split that bottom right there. So make sure you get some good glue in there. It will kind of act a little bit like a bobblehead, unfortunately, because that's just the way it was designed. You can do some magnets and probably do some other cool stuff, but you need a really big magnet because of the way this overhangs. So I'm just content to just kind of let it do its thing. I'm not happy with it, but that's just the way it is. If you remember to grab the stem as you pick up, you'll be good on that model. Now, I painted the Annihilation, or I forget what this thing was called, the Heavy Gauss, I believe it is. I painted this thing separate, and it just actually, there's little ring nubs right there that'll just kind of lock in and just kind of stay in place, you know, except for the whole bobblehead experience. But what I did was, I didn't even glue in the pilots, because like I said, extra work, not really down, and I didn't glue in the little Starship Enterprise bridge right there either. But what I did do was leave a little room to put a Necron lowered on foot, because hey, look, check it out, now he's on foot. Now he's a Catacomb Command Barge. Now he's on foot. If you paint it up and matte coat it, it's fine. Like nothing, you know, it just makes sense. There's no reason to glue this guy down, in my opinion. But you could on yours. Either way, I don't want to talk you out of doing anything that that you're willing to spend the time and effort on, of course. But I just think for the buck, for your money, and for 8th edition, it's probably better just to kind of do it this way. Assemble everything, kind of cheat where you can, because let's be honest, it doesn't really matter. If I was going to go and do one of those big Necron transport ships, the Ghost Arcs, I definitely wouldn't paint or glue in any of the passengers at all, because that's just extra time and effort to you know, put together and paint something right there. Now, overall, we're not really going to go over points or anything, because we're going to, you know, hit up the book and everything here in a few. So I think for the most part, that is it for this one here. We showed you the box. We showed you the points costs, and I think that's pretty much it. How much you can save, and gave you some ideas on how you can put together your models and leave them modular, and some of the gotchas to look out for when it comes to assembling your very own miniatures there. So $85 release, Games Workshop. Of course, the codex and the data cards are out this week as well, and we will have our tips and tactics video out next for the new 8th edition Necron.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos,